Hi there. It's February 28th, and normally we would do one chapter, but this is the last day of the month. So we're going to cover 4 chapters today. I'm going to go to 28 and 29 this morning, and then a little later on, I'll do 30 and 31. So tomorrow we can start again at chapter 1. So stay tuned for other videos today. And this video will be a little longer because we're covering 2 chapters. So let's get to it. Okay, 28. The wicked flee when no one is pursuing, but the righteous are bold as a lion. They're confident. There's a note over here on flee. Because of their own conscience accuseth them. Right? Wicked flee when no one is pursuing, because their own conscience gets to them. Right? 2. Now this is highlighted. By the transgression of a land, many are its princes, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, so it endures. Now, if you look at what's been happening over the last 4 years and 2 months, right? In the last 4 years, there seem to be many people in control, controlling one person, right? And a country falls when that happens. Right? When one person stands up with knowledge and understanding, right, fixes things. Okay? We'll just leave that there. 3, a poor man oppresses the lowly. A poor man who oppresses the lowly is like a driving rain which leaves no food. Okay? There are people that oppress the lowly. It's just, you get some of the poor neighborhoods, and there's always one person, beating down on all the other poor people because they want to feel like they're in charge. It's just stating facts. Okay, just stating facts. Or those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law strive with them. God's law. Okay, we're not talking all the laws on the books. We're talking God's law here. 5, evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all things. Like that. Those who seek the Lord understand all things. Is that what we're doing? You bet it is. 6, better is the poor who walks in his integrity than he who is crooked, though he be rich. Right. Perverse of 2 ways. That's a true statement, right? I'll highlight that. We will highlight that one too. Okay? I'd rather meet an honest poor person than crooked rich people, right? Love of money corrupts. Not money. Love of money corrupts. Okay? 7, he who keeps the law is a discerning son, but he who is a companion of gluttons humiliates his father. A lot of people out there humiliating their parents now, right? There are. 8, he who increases his wealth by interest and usury gathers it for him who is gracious to the poor. Now, I had to do some studying on this, okay? There's a pretty good note over here. For God will take away the wicked usurer and give his goods to him that shall bestow them well. Okay? Interest and usury, that's loan interest, okay? Now, the rules back then, you weren't allowed to charge interest to your own countrymen. You were only allowed to charge interest to foreigners, okay? That's kind of what they're trying to do now with tariffs, okay? Every country charges a tariff, okay? They charge you. If you want to sell something in their country, the government is going to charge you a tariff, okay? And in America, they charge tariffs too. You shouldn't be charging interest and usury taxes to your own people, right? It should all come from tariffs. The ones who do that gathers it for him who is gracious to the poor. It will be taken away from them. Kind of happening now, right? Okay, and they're finding out where all this money's going. All right. and it will be taken away from him and redistributed to those who need it, hopefully at some point. 9, he who turns away his ear from listening to the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Okay, again, law, we're talking God's word. Okay, you don't study, you don't get into the Bible. 10, he who leads the upright astray in an evil way will himself fall into his own pit, but the blameless will inherit good. And stay out of trouble. Don't lead people astray. The rich man is wise in his own eyes, but the poor has understanding. Who has understanding sees through him. Now, you can see through a lot of these rich people who think they know everything, right? And they just, you're not a doctor, but you play one on TV. Mm-hmm. Or who has understanding. Right? Examines him. What's that say over here? And judge that he is not wise. 12. When the righteous triumph, there is great glory, but when the wicked arise, men hide themselves. Right? That happened. Hopefully it's all changing, right? 13, he who conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will find compassion. Okay. Now, you can't hide your sins from God, okay? He sees everything. It says that all over Proverbs. So he sees everything. He sees the heart. He uses your spirit as a light to look into your soul. Right? If you hide these things, they'll eat you up. Mm-hmm. Blessed is a man who fears always, but he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Okay? Fears, reverences, respects. They're always in awe of God and everything he did. 15, like a roaring lion and a rushing bear is a wicked ruler over a poor people. You can see some countries where that goes on. Horrible. A leader who is a great oppressor lacks understanding, but he who hates unjust gain will prolong his days. Okay? Again, they just kind of go together, 15 and 16. 17, a man who is laden with the guilt of human blood will be a fugitive until death. Let no one support him. Right? Murderers. Okay? Don't support murderers. 18, he who walks blamelessly will be delivered, but he who is crooked will fall at once. Okay? Perverse of two ways. 19, he who tills the land will have plenty of food, but he who follows empty pursuits will have poverty and plenty. You like that? If you work, you eat, right? There's people that follow empty pursuits, okay? Get rich quick schemes never works, okay? 20, a faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who makes haste to be rich will not go unpunished, right? Right up here. Follows empty pursuits will have poverty and lots of it, right? Faithful men, right? Integrity, honesty, righteousness, and always doing, diligent, will have blessings. He who tries to get rich quick will not go unpunished. 21, to show partiality is not good, because for a piece of bread a man will transgress. Guard the face. So, note, he would be abused for nothing. People will do stuff for bribes. 22, a man with an evil eye hastens after wealth and does not know that want will come upon him. evil eye. Just chasing money, it doesn't work. Evil will come upon you. 23, he who rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with the tongue. Right, yes, men. I look all right. I'm going into an important meeting. Yes, sir. You look great, sir. And one guy says, you got something in your teeth right here. Okay. It's green and it's probably from lunch. And is it embarrassing? Yeah, the guy will be embarrassed. But later on, he'll come to him and say, thank you for pointing that out. I would have made a fool of myself. And all the yes men, he'll look at them and say, why didn't you say something? Because they're afraid of him, right? Mm-hmm. Be afraid to say something for somebody's own good. You save them from embarrassment and stuff. Right? 24, he who robs his father or his mother and says it is not a transgression is the companion of a man who destroys. Okay? This, back in their days, this used to be a capital offense, okay? And they would stone you for that. Because honor your father and mother, which means build them up. Right? 25, an arrogant man stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will prosper. God's soul. Be made fat. He that is proud of heart stirreth up strife, but he that trusteth the Lord shall be fat. Satisfied. Above all things in abundance. Right? Arrogant man. Arrogant. Prideful. Conceited. Haughty. A scuffer. Right? God hates all those things. Stirs up trouble. I like this part right here. He who trusts in the Lord will prosper. Right? 26, he who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but he who walks wisely will be delivered. Right? The heart is deceitful above all things. Okay, it says that. Your trust is supposed to be in God, not in yourself. Right? 27, he who gives to the poor will never want, but he who shuts his eyes will have many curses. All right. Right. God said, if you give to the poor, I will pay you back with interest. Okay. And every time I give to the poor or do something needy, I always get back more than I gave. Always. So if you give to the poor, you will never want. Okay. That's the truth. Malachi, God says, test me in this. And 28, when the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Right, it's true. So there's 28. There's 28. Let's go over the highlights real quick, then we'll jump over to 29 and do that one. Okay. 2, what's going on in a lot of countries now? Right? Look at Argentina. Melee, okay? They had huge government and lots of huge things, and by the transgression of the land, many are its princes, right? All the bureaucracies and things. But a man of understanding and knowledge, so it endures, right? So Melee came in and cut all that stuff off, okay? We don't need this, we don't need this, and he just got rid of all the agencies, okay? And in a very short time, right, the land is prospering. They're having a positive. Right? They are in the positive for the first time in many, many years because one person of understanding and knowledge came in, right? They're trying to do that in America. It's easy to talk about Argentina because it's happened. It's over there, right? Just look around and see the proof of this. Okay, okay, 5. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all things. Okay. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one who is crooked, though he be rich. You'll find a lot more honest, helpful, friendly poor people than you will rich people, because they love their money, and the love of money corrupts, and you cannot have two gods, right? It's highlighted, he who increases wealth by interest and usury, it's just interest and taxes, right? Gathers it for him who is gracious to the poor. Right? All these people taking all this money all over the world, and now they're being found out. Right? And it will be, right? They gathered all that so it could be given back to us, the poor. Hey, 19 is highlighted. He who tills his land will have plenty of food, but he who follows empty pursuits will have poverty and plenty, right? Work, right? If you go to work, you'll have plenty. God will see to it that you have plenty. If you're honest and you work, right? And this goes with that. Faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who makes haste to be rich will not go unpunished. How? You will have poverty and plenty. Okay? Right. 23 is highlighted. He who rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with the tongue. Right? Most times it's good to keep your mouth shut, but sometimes it's necessary to correct somebody, okay? When they're doing something that's a danger to themselves or somebody else, and you know, right? You have experience in that area, it's good to rebuke them or correct them or instruct them, right? Okay. You like this, 25. An arrogant man stirs up strife. He who trusts in the Lord will prosper. Be made fat. The literal is be made fat, right? And 27, he who gives to the poor will never want. But he who shuts his eyes to the poor will have many curses. How do you like that? There's been times where I've only had $5 in my pocket, right? That was my lunch money, and God, the Spirit will tell me, give that $5 you have to that person. He's starving, needs milk for his children or something, and I'm thinking that's all I have. But if you say so, I give that $5 to that person, right? And I don't go hungry. Okay, I get back more than I gave. Okay, happens every time. Here's 20. Let's jump over to 29, and we'll do that. It's normally be tomorrow's, but there is no 29. So this is chapter 29 at the 18-minute mark, right? The man who hardens his neck after much reproof will suddenly be broken beyond remedy. Right? Some people won't listen, right? They will not listen. People stiff-necked. You've heard of being stiff-necked, right? Stiff-necked, where you can't tell them anything. And they fall. 2, when the righteous increase, the people rejoice. But when a wicked man rules, people groan. Plenty of evidence of this, right? Great. 3, a man who loves wisdom makes his father glad, but he who keeps company with harlots wastes his wealth. Right. You saw that happening in the last couple years, right? Okay, 4, the king gives stability to the land by justice, but a man who takes bribes overthrows it. Okay? And a lot of our own representatives, they're supposed to be, are taking bribes. Okay? No justice in the land. You take bribes, right? And they're looking into it finally, okay? It's been going on for many, many years, okay? Our representatives, who we pay them a good salary, okay? More money than I ever made, okay? Like $170,000 to $200,000 a year. but their wealth increases by an average. Now, this is an average. Look it up. $1.5 million a year. Okay, sometimes more. Okay, you're not going to get that from making $170,000 a year. Okay, you are taking bribes to overthrow the land. Okay, somebody bribes you, wants you to do something their way that is not lawful or just. Okay, think about that. A man who flatters his neighbor is spreading a net for his steps. Now, I thought this was a safety net, but it's not a safety net. It's a trap, okay? He that giveth ear to the flatterer is in danger as the bird is before the fowler. Right? You're not supposed to flatter your neighbor, right? That's 5. You're setting a trap for yourself if you flatter your neighbor. Think about that one. 6, by transgression an evil man is ensnared, but the righteous sings and rejoices. Right? The righteous sings and rejoices. There were entire sections where it talked all about righteous and righteousness, and we separated those all. They will put them together and put them in a great big chapter by themselves. Right? So another one, the righteous is concerned for the rights of the poor. The wicked does not understand such concern. Right. Get up. Right. We'll touch back on that. Scorners set a city aflame, but wise men turn away anger. Now, you don't have to go too far back in history, just like 4 years or so, and see what the scorners did. They set many cities aflame. 9, when a wise man has a controversy with a foolish man, the foolish man either rages or laughs, and there is no rest. Right? Or a wise person has an argument with a fool, right? A foolish man either screams, laughs in your face. He will call you names, right? Because they're fools. Okay? They don't have any evidence or anything to come back to. They're just going to call you racist and, and kinds of other weird names because they have no argument. That's why you're not supposed to argue with a fool, okay? Doesn't do any good. 10, men of bloodshed hate the blameless, but the upright are concerned for his life. His soul, right? Men of bloodshed. Bloody men hate what is upright. Yeah, hate the blameless, right? 11, a fool always loses his temper, but a wise man holds it back, right? Sends forth all his spirit. A fool poureth out all his mind, but wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. Okay? There's some people that just fly off the handle at everything, always. Okay? If a ruler pays attention to falsehood, all his ministers become wicked. Yeah. That's true. 13, the poor man and the oppressor have this in common. The Lord gives light to the eyes of both. Yeah, I heard something on the internet or something yesterday, and why is there evil? Why is there sadness? Why is there sickness? Okay. Without dark, you would not know what light was. Okay. Dark is just an absence of light. Okay. Bad is just an absence of good. Okay. Sadness is just a lack of happiness. Okay. Without these things, right? If it wasn't dark sometimes, you would take the light for granted. Okay. If you didn't know sadness, you would take happiness for granted, and it would no longer be happiness. So The Lord gives light to the eyes of both. Okay? 14, if the king judges the poor with truth, his throne will be established forever. Okay? Truth. Yeah. Finding out the truth now, huh? It's been hidden for a long time. 15, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child who gets his own way brings shame to his mother. Okay? Discipline, right, gives wisdom. Child who gets away with stuff brings shame to his mother, because later on, you won't be able to control them, because you didn't teach them this when they were young. Right? 16, when the wicked increase, transgression increases, but the righteous will see their fall. How's that for a promise, right? You think that's going on now? I think it is. Starting. Right? Somebody pushed the first domino over, and it's starting. 17, correct your son, and he will give you comfort. He will also delight your soul. Right? By the rod and reproof that gives wisdom. Right? Give delight to your soul. Where there is no vision, the people are unrestrained, but happy is he who keeps the law. Revelation. Okay. You need somebody, vision, revelation. Somebody needs to stand up and tell you how good it could be, how good it will be. Right? There's been somebody doing that for years now, telling you how good it would be. Right? 19, a slave will not be instructed by words alone, for though he understands, there will be no response. You have to show some people. You can't just tell them, okay? Do you see a man hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Well, this is an important statement, okay? Hasty in his manner. Somebody jumps to a conclusion, doesn't study, doesn't get instruction. And the fact that they said there is more hope for a fool than for him, they have set up throughout the whole chapter that there is absolutely no hope for fools, okay? It even goes as far as to say you can grind a fool in a mortar and pestle, grind a human into paste. That's disgusting. And you cannot separate the foolishness from that person, okay? So when it says, do you see a man hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him, and fools have absolutely no hope, right? Keep your mouth shut, okay? Don't be hasty in words or in your matters, okay? Don't jump to conclusions, all right? Quick to listen, slow to speak. It's James 1. Do a study on that. All right? He who pampers his slave from childhood will in the end find him to be a son. 22, an angry man stirs up strife, and a hot-tempered man abounds in transgression. Aboundeth in transgression. Right? I mean, angry people usually, they're in the front of crowds with megaphones screaming at everybody. Right? Abounds in transgression. 23, this is highlighted. A man's pride will bring him low, but the humble spirit will obtain honor. Right? God hates pride, finds an abomination. Pride, arrogance, conceit, haughtiness. Right? Humble. You want to be humble, never bragging. Right? Not wise in your own eyes, some of them say. And you will obtain honor. Okay? That's simple. Do not be prideful. 24, he who is a partner with a thief hates his own life. He hears the oath, but tells nothing. Partner with the thief. What's that say over here? He that is a partner with the thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing and declareth it not. Right. Honor among thieves. Okay? No honor. 25. The fear of man brings a snare, but he who trusts in the Lord will be exalted. Gives. What's that say over here? The fear of man bringeth a snare, but he that trusteth in the Lord shall be exalted. Right? Fear of man. Always fear the Lord. Don't fear men. Men can only take your life. They can't take your soul. Okay? And they can take the body. Okay? And we are not a body with a soul. We are a soul with a body. And the soul can never be destroyed. Okay? Many people love their body more than their soul, and the bodies are only temporary. Okay, 26. Many seek the ruler's favor, but justice from man comes from the Lord. Right? Peace. And 27. An unjust man is abominable to the righteous, and he who is upright in the way is abominable to the wicked. Right? Got that? The evil hate the good, and the good hate the evil. Right? Bad guys and good guys. You learn that as kids, the bad guys and the good guys. They hate each other. All right, so there you go. This is 29. Go over the highlights in this one real quick. All right, the king gives stability to the land by justice, but a man who takes bribes overthrows it. And we talked about that at length, okay? People that want to enrich themselves, that are supposed to be representatives and think they are more than they are, taking bribes and overthrowing their own country for money. Right? Hopefully we're fixing that. Okay? Can it ever truly be fixed? No. Men will always be, there will always be evil people until Jesus comes back. Right? 6 and 7, righteous stuff, right? Righteous. By transgression, an evil man is ensnared or trapped, but the righteous sings and rejoices, right? The righteous is concerned for the rights of the poor. The wicked does not understand such concerns, right? Why do you care about those people? They're nothing. They're sitting on the gutter. Well, because they're people, right? They're God's creation, and God loves them, and so do I. They don't understand that, okay? And 8, scorners set a city aflame, but wise men turn away anger. Go back to 2020 and 2021 and you'll see this. Right? It happened. Just to say that all the cities that were set aflame were cities controlled by evil people. Right? The cities controlled by good people, righteous people. That stuff didn't happen there. They turn away. They turn that stuff away. You can do that statistical study if you like. Right? When a wise man has a controversial argument with a foolish man, the foolish man either rages or laughs, and there is no rest. Right? Yeah, now you've seen these people, stupid, they're carrying signs, and they had no knowledge, okay, of what they're doing, and you back them up with truth, and what do? They laugh hysterically, they scream, they rage, they call you names. They never argue with facts. This is why I believe, and this is why this is, and they just scream and laugh and call you names. Okay? Just a fact. Okay, the poor man and the oppressor have this in common. The Lord gives light to the eyes of both. Right? And we talked about that. Okay. Without the bad, you would not see the good. Okay. It would just become stagnant, and you would take it for granted and never be thankful for the good things if you didn't see the bad things. Right? Okay. 16, when the wicked increase, transgression increases, but the righteous will see their fall. That's a promise. I like that. The righteous will see the wicked, right, fall. And this one, that's a bigger statement than you think. Do you see a man who is hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him, right? And fools have absolutely no hope. You cannot take the foolishness out of a fool. Okay? Though you grind him in a mortar and pestle, or drive the threshing wheel over them, yeah, you cannot separate. And that says, there is more hope for a fool than for a man who is hasty in his words. You say stuff without thinking about it. Okay? It's better not to say anything. Okay? That's a very important statement. 23, a man's pride will bring him low, but a humble spirit will obtain honor. Right? Have you ever seen a very humble person? Somebody does a very heroic thing, and he's very humble about it. You know, it did what needed to be done. People build him up, okay? And if you walk out and you said, oh, I did this, so I'm a great person, and pretty soon people just forget about you, but they don't forget about somebody who's humble, okay? They obtain honor. Okay. And 27 is highlighted. An unjust man is abominable to the righteous, and he who is upright in the way, God's law, is abominable to the wicked. Okay? Don't hate the bad hate the good. So, there you go. This is a longer study. We covered 2 chapters, okay? 20 to 31 now. Stay tuned later, and we will, in a couple hours, we will cover 30 and 31 and be done with Proverbs for this month, the last day of the month, 28th of February. So, and chapter 30, to me, is one of the most important chapters in all of Proverbs. It takes everything, wraps it up. This whole time we've been seeking wisdom, right? In chapter 30, the words of Agar will tell you finally what wisdom is. Okay? The key to it all. Okay? And the prayer of Agar, okay? The prayers that we should be praying every day. So stay tuned for that later. So like if you think about it. And later on this afternoon, we'll continue in our Through the New Testament in a year, or Mark 6, I think, or something like that. But we'll do that. So give us a like if you think about it. But until later, we'll keep going. See ya.